I'm Captain Mike Norton of Norton Nautical Services. I'm a captain here at Port Harbor Marine, where we're here today to talk to you about your captain's orientation. In this segment, we're going to talk to you about ways to keep your boat safe while you stop and enjoy what the water has to offer for you. We're going to talk about grabbing a mooring, which is an established parking spot on the water, and it dropping an anchor, or dropping the hook as we say, whether you need to use it for safety or if you just want to stop and hang out for a little while. First, we're going to talk about grabbing a mooring. If you have two people, sometimes it's easier. You can have one up on the bow to grab the mooring and one driving the boat. Today I'm going to be doing it by myself. The first step to picking up a mooring is approaching the mooring into the wind, waves, or current at a slow speed so that you're under control, and when you arrive at the mooring, you're not going to be fighting your momentum. Step two is to grab the mooring with your boat hook, pull it up to you, grab the line, set the boat hook aside, and then you can approach to the bow of the boat to put your cleat. You put your line to your cleat. The safest way to secure the mooring line to a bow cleat is to take the loop, run it through the center of our cleat that's attached to the boat, and then around the ears, just like you were attaching a dock line. That way it's not going to pop off if it starts to get rough, windy, or somebody bumps into it. Once you're safely attached to a mooring line, you can sit back, relax, turn those engines off, and take in all that the water has to offer. So when you've taken in all that you can on the water and it's time to leave your mooring, all you need to do is pull in on the line to get some slack in that mooring line, untie it from the cleat, and then let it go. Very important though, you don't want to drive forward immediately because you'll run right over your mooring line and then you'll be staying longer than you intended to. So we just talked about mooring. That's the easiest way to hang out on the water for a while. Now we're going to talk about anchoring, a skill that every captain must master. It's our safety net. If something happens, we lose our power, we run aground, just about anything that you don't want to happen. If it happens, our anchor is what's going to keep us safe. It's going to keep us in decent water, away from the shore, away from rocks, things of that nature. Dropping an anchor is hard, it's unpredictable. You can do the same thing 10 times in a row and it may only work 6. But you also need to know what you have for bottom. A rocky bottom is not good for an anchor. A muddy bottom is really good for an anchor. And sand can be okay as long as it's not really rough and you're not in a super heavy boat. Once you arrive at the place that you want to drop your anchor at, you want to make sure that there's nobody around you or that you're at a safe distance so that when you swing, you don't swing into them, or if the tide moves you, you don't end up on shore. You want to make sure there's enough water. Simple steps to dropping an anchor. You want to first approach the area that you're going into the wind and at a slow speed. Bring your boat to rest and stop. Begin to deploy your anchor, whether manual or automatic, and then initiate your reverse momentum unless the wind has already done it for you. You want to pay out your line until you see a nice gradual angle. 45 degrees is typically fine. And you want to pay out, if it's marked on your line, you want to pay out between 3 and 7 times the depth of the water that you're in. But really, if you just see that angle and feel the boat grab, you'll know that you're hooked. Once you're hooked, you'll stop moving in reverse and your bow will begin to squat down into the water because it's got that tension on it. Once you're set, you don't have to do anything else. What I would suggest is keeping an eye on some landmarks that are near you so that you don't find yourself drifting. The tide is going to swing you around, but you don't want to get too close to shore or other boats. Once you've achieved these simple steps, sit back, relax, and enjoy your day. When you've enjoyed your day and it's time to pull that anchor, you're going to wish that you had an automatic anchor system for one. But what you need to do is begin to pull it in with an anchor system Just retrieve it is how it's called. If it's an automatic system, it's easy. You hold the button, and if that motor starts to really bear down like it's working hard, you want to give it a break. You don't want to trip any breakers. And if it's manual, give yourself a break. You don't have to do it all at once, but you do have to pull in steadily, hand over hand, putting the chain back into your anchor locker. But every stroke that you pull, your boat is moving. So give your boat time to move so that you're not burning out yourself and using all your energy. We want to keep it fun and enjoyable, which is why an automatic system is always better. Usually directly above the anchor, it will release because a straight up and down anchor doesn't cause it to hold. But at that point, one of my safety things is that you will be free. If you're in a lot of wind and you're close to shore, you want to be really mindful that you're pulling that in quickly, or that somebody is at the helm station to get you out of trouble if you get too close. Once your anchor is safely stowed in your locker, that's it. You've done it. You can go back and keep cruising or do whatever your plans are for the rest of your day. It's very important to master the skill of anchoring. Anchoring is important. It's our safety net, but it's also our way to see places that moorings may not be, to get close in shallow water, to see those coves, those nooks and crannies that most people don't get into. It just allows us to be able to see places that you wouldn't normally get to.